information getting worse and worse. And it was not just in my videos. I posted quite a few videos after the Starbucks incident because I was like, if I just stop posting right now, that's not gonna look good. So I was like, I'm just gonna keep trucking. I'm gonna keep posting videos. And yeah, I did keep noticing just little things I said, you know what I mean, turning into things that I don't think would have been a problem beforehand. And it was not everyone in my comment section. It wasn't even most of the people in my comment section, but it was some really loud people. And the comment section is usually where I go to make sure that my perspective is coming across the right way and to see other perspectives. But when these other perspectives are saying things like, well, this is disappointing, well, this is awful, this is just sad, wow, I expected better, it's like, what am I supposed to learn from that? Other than the fact that y'all are kind of watching some of these videos wrong. And I saw that in so many people's comment sections as well. It is all over the place now where I feel like everyone is just going off of vibes and just also what the comments underneath them are saying. I guarantee you there is a large portion of people who will see a comment that says something like, oh, you said something homophobic in this video. And then somebody will come and be like, I can't believe that you would say something homophobic in this video. That's really disappointing because you present yourself. And it's like, what are you actually talking about? You don't know who I am. You didn't watch this video. You're literally just like, I saw this phrase before. I don't remember where I saw it. I might even be pulling this from a bad place that I shouldn't be repeating, but it was outrage tourism. You're just moving from one thing on the internet to another that people are mad about, and you're not even staying long enough to understand what it is you're talking about. And that coming from me, a guy who just makes standalone videos about things that people are mad about online, might sound kind of hypocritical, but it's just not. I'm talking about two different things. People who consume internet drama content get a lot of flack from like sanctimonious people. I've heard it the entire time I've been posting like, oh, you know, this is sad, get a life. Why would anybody care like to watch a 45-minute video about a beauty influencer? Because people have hobbies, Bradley. Why do you know so much about, I don't know, Tim Tebow? Is that a footballer? I don't actually know much about sport. Why? You know, it's not really weird. It's definitely not as weird as people make it sound when they're trying to dunk on people who enjoy commentary, drama, entertainment news, whatever you want to call it. Because I know the truth from my analytics. Baby, everybody loves drama. Drama is universal. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with actually following a bunch of things that people are interested about or even mad about, making content, consuming content, and commenting on that. So that's not what this video is me saying, you know, you should stop being a commentary fan. I sure hope it doesn't. Please keep watching the videos. This is for those people who watch and react to commentary dumb. It is not intelligent to always jump to the worst possible interpretation of every bit of information that you've been presented with, especially when that information has not been presented in its entire context. And that's kind of like one of my main points, or one of the few things that I think sets my videos apart. You should always look at the whole situation. But remember when I said I knew why this was getting worse? It's literally because of TikTok. And listen, I am not one of those people who's like, oh my gosh, every new app that isn't the app that I like is the one that ruined everything. YouTube has in many ways made a lot of things worse for a lot of people. Facebook kind of ruined everything. Instagram ruined everything. But TikTok is ruining things in a new way that I'm kind of hip to. This is from just the other day from Business Insider. TikTok has dethroned YouTube and Instagram and become the top social app for news among young people. TikTok is a horrible format to consume your news in, okay? I'm just gonna say it like that. I'm just going to play
content that violated terms of service. She claims she spoke to YouTube directly. It implies her efforts are the reason why the channel still exists today. But because of his mishandling of his community, she now regrets that. Many were quick to point out the ridiculousness of the pedophile allegation, especially with no screenshots to back up the notion that the clique hadn't tried to help. Given the server had 40,000 members, there were bound to be a few bad apples in the bunch. Nevertheless, the section paled in comparison to the issues present in her response to Wonder. It similarly avoided most of what was said in the thread, instead pivoting to attacking his character as a means to discredit his claims. Blair begins by claiming she never neglected to pay Wonder, which was one of his allegations, where he said that payments to editors were delayed while Blair visited BMW dealerships and ordered Uber Eats. He says that it took more than half a month for him to be paid, while Blair claims that this was just the way she and many companies pay their employees on a bi-weekly basis. She then says the reason Wonder lived with her was because she generously extended him a job offer for an easy editing gig and allowed him to live under her roof for a time. According to her, despite this generosity, generosity, he trashed the car she lended to him.
Within 1 month of using the vehicle, the car was visibly soiled. Trash was littered in the car. It contained dirty clothing, which consisted of I think 2 pairs of dirty boxers and maybe 3 mismatched socks. There was also a huge crack that went across most of the windshield, and for some reason, the glove box compartment in the front passenger seat was somehow broken. The state of the vehicle was shocking, to be honest, but at this point, I was just happy to have my car back and know that it couldn't be damaged any further.
This segment mostly comes down to Blair publishing petty interpersonal drama that never needed to be made public in the first place. But in fairness, Wonder initially did the same by posting pictures of her house that made it look like it belonged on an episode of Hoarders. Nonetheless, Blair then delved into Wonder's mental health and addressed his intention of suicide, as well as a message where he stated that the emotional pressure from her is what pushed him over the edge. Blair didn't explain why this was at all relevant, but it appeared to be an attempt by her to make Wonder look unstable. Inexplicably, she spends a few minutes talking about how her dog and his dog didn't get along when they lived together.
The tension began with our dogs and his unwillingness to help ease the situation between our pets. I did everything I thought of at the time to introduce James and Casper in a way that facilitated a good relationship between the dogs. They met on neutral ground at a dog park and only had supervised play at the house.
While I appreciate her expert analysis on which dog was in the right or whatever, believe it or not, there actually is a reason for this. It was the reason she provided for why there was so much conflict while they lived together. Wonder claimed it was because of her behavior, but Blair suggested that it came down to the dog situation, her recommending her therapist to him, which created a conflict of interest, and the car being trashed. In response to the accusation of being a hoarder, Blair clarifies that this was just one messy room in her house due to the ongoing process of moving in. In isolation, her point actually holds some merit, as she highlights that Wonder posted an irrelevant photo with the intention of humiliating her.
I feel the need to point out these minor details since the out-of-context photos of the house being moved into are being used as a way to show that I'm a supposed monster and that, quote, my home is a mess, like Hoarders bad. And just, what was the point of this, Wonder? Why would you even bother posting something like this except to humiliate me? This was a room that we told you we were using to move, and we let you know it was off limits to you. That photo alone shows your consistent lack of respect for Oz's and my boundaries. And Wonder, I am sorry that I was ever friends with you.
Towards the end of the video, Blair starts crying as she expresses how deeply the falling out between her and Oz Media affected her.
You were right. I am afraid of looking stupid and weak online, and yet I am those things right now. You've been with me through a lot of really intense and personal situations in my life. You were there throughout the entire process of my mom's cancer diagnosis, her various treatments, and hospitalizations. And I know there were many times when I had to run out the door suddenly because there was a crash cart in her room and they didn't know if she was going to make it. And you said you'd stay at the house and watch Casper so I could go to my mom.
The video concludes with Blair acknowledging that she wants to take responsibility for her faults, such as her impulsivity in the Legal Eagle situation. Her immediate fan base, with little knowledge of the situation, were supportive. However, some viewers found her remarks lacking substance. They noted that the segment on the click appeared to be thin on evidence, despite her initial promise of providing screenshots as evidence. No actual screenshots were shown to support her claims against the click. Furthermore, many took issue with her disclosing Wonder's mental health status. Posting Wonder's suicide note is disgusting. I don't care how you two fell out, he trusted you with a very sensitive situation, and you use that to get the focus off of yourself. That's disgusting. You have no shame. This is immensely disappointing. I was hoping the information and rumors I'd been hearing about you for years were untrue, but it looks as if I was sorely mistaken. The click hinted that a detailed response was to come, while the other former Sad Milk members posted their own rebuttals on Twitter. While the dislike bar on Blair's video climbed, people waited with bated breath to see if the click's response would be the final nail in the coffin of this saga. On May 2nd, 2023, The Click released his video. It only addresses his portion of Illuminati's response, as well as verifying the claims he previously made about her. To debunk the claim about him not doing anything in regards to the Discord predator, The Click clarified that he was asleep while the situation was unfolding, and by the time he woke up, it was already resolved.
She brought one topic into a chat room, as she shown in her video and her accusations. However, her statement in these DMs about Click knowing is very odd, as I would have been very unconscious when the ban was happening. She might be referring to me knowing showing by the time I woke up, but the fact remains I wasn't there, nor did I endorse this random creep.
In her video, Blair claims she reached out to the clique for his aid in resolving the issue. As he shows in his, he was the first one to reach out, while her responses back were fairly vague and didn't provide any of the relevant information at all. This recontextualized her messages with one topic. They weren't about resolving the Predator problem, they were about making the clique look bad to his friend. Instead of directly messaging the clique to address her concerns, Blair messaged his friend and accused him of doing nothing. However, it's important to note that the clique wasn't around at the time, so reaching out to him directly wouldn't have been possible anyway. He was asleep. In his response, the clique addresses a point that Blair emphasized, but is seen by some as a non-issue. Blair claimed that she could never be friends with someone who used the R slur in video games. However, the clique points out that despite her messaging others about how problematic it was, she continued to hang out with him regardless.
She would never be friends with someone that used that language. Yet she regularly played games with me as a friend during this time, where I allegedly kept on saying these things. Which one is it? I don't think you can have both.
He then says he stopped using the word retarded in content as he didn't want to offend anyone. This pivots to her deleting comments, which, while it can't be proven, a before and after screenshot of the Sad Milk channel showed that anyone speaking positively about him or protesting his removal did in fact have their comments suspiciously deleted. Blair herself on her main account then began snidely spreading rumors in comment sections, saying, "I didn't say the N-word in old videos, just saying." The videos in question were between 10 and 14 years old, by the way. But all of this is relatively petty. Even the accusations regarding Clique's Discord could be chalked up to miscommunication, but he then reveals she was spreading rumors about him not respecting his Discord mods, as if unwashed internet janitors deserve respect in the first place. No offense to you guys that moderate my Discord. Okay, actually, some offense intended. They spend hours of their lives to help some YouTuber they love and look up to. The very least thing any content creator can and should do is give their teams the respect they deserve. Mods have always been the backbone of every YouTube and Twitch community. To disrespect them and try to just throw them away is insane. They are the ones who have a pulse on the community. Like, I'll never be able to properly thank my entire team, but God, I'll try. This Clique One Topic has me heated. These stupid how could you not care about the people who care about your community the most? How? Usually, YouTubers try to fight against cultivating parasocial relationships. I guess Blair didn't get the memo. She continued spreading the claim that the clique harbored a predator on his Discord server and threw a hissy fit about him making a harmless white van joke in an old video, as well as pulling other jokes out of context to imply he was a degenerate.
Here's the same chat room again in what I'm assuming is suggesting that my my god, I'm so down with the kids boomer joke from Twitter has pedo implications. Oh, the younglings think I'm so cool.
Blair then began enlisting people to dig through 10-year-old Let's Plays to find dirt on him. Again, here's the video still up with the R slur at 340-ish. Keep in mind, this was 2010, when the clique was in high school and didn't have any kind of audience. She talked with glee about the day when the public would eventually become aware of his past slur usage and cancel him. Ever since we made the Sad Milk announcement, some fans have been putting it together, while I'm mostly the bad bitch. Some are figuring it out. Listen, I have Clique on video saying the F slur and R slur. He will put himself with his own ego, and I won't have to deal with any of that. Oh yeah, it's in his old videos. Some Discord users are overweight mods, some are e-girls, some are traps, and some make Machiavellian plots to destroy their friends' careers because 10 years ago they said retard. The amount of spite you must feel to devote this much energy to someone who did nothing wrong to you is unimaginable. I'm a level with y'all here. Reading through things and seeing people excuse Clique saying the R slur because it was 10 years ago and it's irrelevant is super yikes to me. Super yikes. Oh boy. It's super yikes, guys. Again, I'm the same age as Clique and that word wasn't ever in my vocabulary. Not 10 years ago, not now, because it was never appropriate. Same with him saying the N-word and F slur. Being edgy is not an excuse, and seeing it dismissed so lightly like that is actually gross. As if iDubbbz wasn't calling himself and his fans NFs 3 years prior to these videos. And that's not to mention what goes on in every 15-year-old's Xbox Live lobby. If all of that wasn't enough, Blair was also paying people hundreds of dollars to sift through material to find compromising clips of the clique. I need you to help find the clique saying the R slur and Sad Milk's raw audio. I will pay you $200 to find it. Blair's spending more money than most people spend on groceries to expose some Swedish dude for saying the R word. As for why, it seems like it was either out of jealousy that his own channel was taking off or out of spite that he left the collab channel due to her behavior and no longer wanted to be her buddy.
Why would she go through all this trouble, even spend money just to try to ruin myself and others? Why would she do all of this to someone who considered her a friend.
However, this wasn't even the worst part. Got click saying the N-word apparently, and here we have a YouTube link. 16 seconds in, the alt account is gonna love this one. This was in reference to an anonymous Twitter account Blair was running with the intention of sowing dissent among the click's viewers and damaging his reputation. She carried this out not only on Twitter, but also on Reddit, because of course it was on Reddit. She made the following post pretending to be a random Click fan. I saw the sad milk announcement. I follow all the milkmen on their social media. I'm seeing the comments on their new announcement, and I feel there's a big piece of the puzzle that's missing. We don't know what happened. I made an account on Reddit to see if this subreddit is active, and I see you're still talking about this too. I think this is a very good place to vent and rant about what I figured out because
it was never only Cody Co, and it will not stop at Cody Co. The more I learn about people in this industry as I grow on this platform, the worse it gets. It might be hard to believe, but this channel once had 0 subscribers. Like Drake, my favorite rapper, once said, "Started from the bottom, now we here." My journey from not being able to afford rent to people actually caring about my opinion on JoJo Siwa has allowed me to infiltrate the industry and pull back the curtain on the good, the bad, and the fugly about the industry and the people in it. And today, I want to peel back the curtain and show you the filth that I've had the misfortune of being exposed to. Also, this job is the best thing that's ever happened to me. Don't you forget it. But commentary on the internet is changing. Some say for the worse. And I feel like my perspective on this as someone who grew an audience fairly recently could be interesting for you to hear. Or it might not be. I don't know. In 2020, I became a fan of funny sit-down videos of guy making fun of cringe TikTok, cringe guy, or cringe movie, and thought, hey, that looks fun. That would fill up my time and be a fun side project to work on my editing skills. I'm freshly graduated from college, struggled to find stable work, and then 2020 happened and reduced what little work I had left. So I figured I had nothing left to lose and really try to make YouTube a career. I've always loved entertainment, and I thought that this would be a fun avenue to explore. It took a while for my personality to show on camera, but when it did, I knew I had something. As my channel grew and I got a lot better at making videos, I met more and more young creators like me who found success doing something creative that they found fun. I really looked up to this one creator who I felt lucky to collaborate with and take some side jobs editing for. But as they grew in subscribers, I saw them shrink in the heart. Their name was the Grinch from Christmas. Just kidding. This person was promising, up and coming in a field already dominated by who'd done it best. But this person wasn't actually very nice like they portrayed on camera, which applies to too many people. What a surprise. Never meet your heroes, I guess, because then you'll realize that they're just people, and you might not like them. But it was really sad watching someone you once admired slowly reveal their true colors and poop in the pool, metaphorically. They became more egotistical, bought a fancy car, and moved to LA as soon as they could, all correlating to the number on their YouTube channel getting bigger. It was like the opposite of ego death. It was like ego life. It was like ego birth. Just to paint a better picture, this was the type of person that made you feel like there was an inside joke that you're not a part of. They're laughing at you, not with you, to your face and behind your back. This was someone who portrayed themselves online as having high morals and only bashing people who really deserved it. More on that point later. At another creator event, I had an interaction with a well-known creator that went like this. Hey, I'm Gabby. What's your channel? Oh, it's Gabby Bell. Oh, I've never heard of you. What the fuck am I supposed to say to that? Who says that when they're meeting someone for the first time? It took me 2 years to get to 1,000 subscribers, and another year to 5,000. I started 2022 with just over 7,000 subscribers. My only claim to fame so far being the female Moist Critical. My channel picked up by the end of 2022, ending the year with over 200,000 subscribers. 500,000 in 2023, and 1 million pretty much exactly 1 year later in 2024. And look at us now. Now my mom doesn't guilt me to get a real job anymore. I'm not saying all this to brag, but to show how no one gave a shit about me for years until recent growth. And say what you want, but I worked my ass off. I had a part-time job 30 hours a week so I could spend the other 10 hours working on the job I wanted. And usually that number ended up being way more than 10 hours a week. I see how people treat you like your subscriber number from both sides. And it's been a very sad realization of the industry. And the people I thought were the good ones may not be who they want us to think they are. But things have changed even from my own recent rise. We can talk about the Mr. Beastification of YouTube all day long, where channel rips off channel who rips off another channel in the most brain-numbing way possible in a competition to get to the top of the algorithm.
In this video, we will be eating 100 years of jail food, 100 years of school lunches.
Behind me are 20 ninja warriors. 10 boys and 10 girls will
Screaming their lungs off for some reason. I can hear you. There's a microphone, you don't need to yell! And what this really escalated was the corporatization of YouTube. A YouTuber not adding shun to the end of every noun challenge. Impossible. Mr. Beast took over as the most subscribed to YouTube channel by min-maxing the platform. Algorithm-obsessed content would slowly take over the platform, and if you thought people only did YouTube for money back then, it was always going to get a whole lot worse. I know it's a little ironic for me to do an ad right now, but I signed a contract and I really, really like these socks. Bombas are the best socks you'll ever give as a gift this holiday season. If you don't know what to get someone because you're a crap gift giver and you don't want to just get them socks, Bombas have pre-wrapped gift boxes that are perfect for anyone. We got a gift box for dress socks, athletic socks, merino wool gift boxes, kids gift boxes. These are the most comfortable socks I have ever owned. I go out of my way to wear Bombas instead of other socks. It also feels so good to give because you're not only giving the gift of godly socks to your loved ones, but also to people experiencing homelessness. Because with Bombas, it's one purchased equals one donated. I'm gonna be giving these gift boxes to my friends, and you should too. Bombas is giving new customers 20% off their first purchase. Just head to bombas.com/Gabby and use code Gabby20 at checkout. Thank you, Bombas, for sponsoring this video. Whenever you post a video, you get a ranking of how well it's doing in the algorithm compared to your last 10 videos on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 out of 10 gets confetti and a big hug from YouTube. 10 out of 10 gets a gray down arrow because red felt too mean. And there's a blurb that says, looks like you posted some trash nobody liked. I know I'm being a little dramatic, but YouTubers place so much importance on this metric, it consumes them. Each video has to be bigger and better than the last.
When I chat with comedians now about comedy, all they talk about is the quality of what they do and how funny it was, the timing, the nuances, the delivery, the specific details of how they can improve and hone their craft. And when I chat with YouTubers, from the majority of my experience, all they talk about is how they can have another banger, how they can get more of this attention, because that's what it tells you to want, to feel, to need. I'm starting to feel a pretty large resentment with this company for hardwiring and instilling in a 15-year-old me that yes, you need to be popular.
It's unsustainable and it's nearly impossible to keep up. That's how you get to this point that no YouTuber is immune to.
One time I watched the entire Mr. Beast crew, about 7 men, be really sad because they had a 10 out of 10 in their dashboard. They had gotten only 50 million views in a day.
Here's the problem with the system. This metric only accounts for the last 10 videos on your channel. This means it doesn't compare to how you were doing last year, or even 6 months ago. If you post more than twice a year, that is. You wouldn't see that your 10 out of 10 now would have been your best performing video this time last year. It's front and center in your backend and doesn't actually help you analyze the data on your channel. The only thing it tells you is that you should be making more of this and less of of whatever you just posted. Do I want my video to do well? Of course I do, but there's a healthy balance to things. This doesn't help incentivize creativity, no matter how much YouTube tells us they want creativity and uniqueness. It's a business. In turn, you can see how this system quickly becomes one that rewards clickbait, or really exaggerated negative titles and thumbnails. Was Kitchen Nightmares actually a failure? No, obviously not. Is this the worst dating show ever? No, there are definitely worse ones out there. I tried the worst baking product ever. No, dumbass, you just don't know how to bake a cake with this many contraptions. Is Waffle House the most chaotic restaurant in America? Yes, I stand by this. You made freaking food? I got delivered food. I'm using myself as an example here because calling out specific channels isn't really productive to me. YouTube overall as a whole benefits from outrage clicks, even if the videos don't have that much substance, and creators are just playing into it because that's what works. Have you ever noticed really negative packaging on a video and you click on it and the commentary is actually pretty level-headed and reasonable and not as negative as initially presented? It's on purpose and it's by design. I've done it, he's done it, everybody's done it. Myself and many other creators can tell you that you just don't get as many clicks when the video is positive. In fact, you get fucking ridiculed for making a positive commentary video. My Fortnite video with Chad had people accusing me of being paid by Fortnite and saying the entire video was like an ad for Fortnite. God forbid someone fucking likes something enough to make a video praising it. Get a grip. Get a grip. I've had many discussions with other creators who had to make their titles and thumbnails more negative to get clicks.
And in my many years on YouTube, I have learned that hyperbole works really well. If something is like the best or the most or the worst, then people are probably gonna wanna watch it a little more, you know? Even if it isn't the most, right? You just have to go to those extremes if you want people to click on your videos, which sucks, you know? I feel like we should switch up that meta, you know? And I'm gonna start, okay? I think the next movie commentary I do, I'm gonna title it, "This movie is bad, but I've probably seen worse. This movie was just alright."
The more you grow on YouTube, the more this ranking feels shoved in your face and the bearer of how good your video is. This happens gradually as you grow your channel, which can be said about the next part. People become so obsessed with their public image to a degree that is completely unhealthy. Our brains simply weren't made to be perceived and judged by
age. Most proper adults can still tell when they're talking to a kid/teenager and can still take advantage of that. Again, it's not worth it to put yourself and others at risk over something as trivial as NSFW art. This is a disgusting one. Last NSFW topic, feeding it to young characters is weird and gross. It doesn't matter if the character is not real. You're getting off to the concept of a child. It is such a weak defense. Stories are meant to immerse you, make you feel for those characters as if they were real. They represent real things, real experiences. If you see a character that is meant to represent a real child and you feel those feelings, that is disgusting. I hear this defense of child NSFW are mostly from the anime community. It's unfortunate the amount of weird fan service you gotta look past to enjoy a lot of anime shows. Like one of my favorite anime shows, Kakegurui, has a huge problem with this. There are so many upskirts. Honestly, I don't even care about I'm figuring out how to censor this for YouTube. The very passionate, excited, the pleasured faces. Yeah, let's go with that. I don't really care about the pleasured faces they make because that stuff's just funny and I feel like it serves the universe. Like, people are so crazy about the game that they get a sick pleasure from it. If you guys are liking this video, I can make some more art commentary videos to draw to. If you're interested, I can make an art drama version where I give a recap on all the biggest art dramas from our community, from Colleen to Creepshow Art. Subscribe so you won't miss more art commentary videos. Moving on, but still somewhat related to NSFW, I think aging up characters and drawing them in adult scenarios is fine. If a character looks visibly older and acts older, the art is no longer in illegal territory. Personally, I still wouldn't consume art like that because, I don't know, it would still feel kind of off. I've just never looked at a young character and thought, damn, I kind of want to envision them older and with their clothes off. But you do you. I wouldn't judge someone for that. I guess it gets complicated when the character you're aging up was already near the legal age. Like, how differently would you draw a 16-year-old versus an 18-year-old, you know? I think when it comes to posting that type of art, you have to make it very clear that you're drawing their adult self to avoid controversy. You wouldn't want someone to think you're drawing their minor selves. With my own characters, they're all between 15 and 17 years old, but I've thought about situations involving them in their adult years and whether I would post that. I wouldn't want someone to think I'm drawing their teen selves, but it would also get kind of annoying plastering "these are their adult versions" everywhere. Tracing. An evergreen art commentary topic. I believe tracing is good to do, but bad to post. Tracing and heavily copying other artists' work is very beneficial in helping you get better at your craft. You pay great attention to all the details in their art and the little nuances in the way they paint each stroke. Their use of colors, textures, shading, patterns, all adding to your mental library of art knowledge. It's an easy way to learn a lot, and it's satisfying when it comes out looking like the original artist's piece. The problem with tracing isn't tracing itself, it's posting it for others to see. When you post traced art, people don't take it as you posting to show what you've learned. It just looks like you're trying to pass off someone else's hard work as your own. It may also be a copyright violation to copy someone's artwork that closely, depending on where you live. Artists already have to deal with their art getting stolen, reposted, used illegally on merchandise, and much more. People tracing their art just adds on to that pile of people who refuse to create and instead choose to steal from them. So again, if you want to trace someone's art, whether recreationally or for education, don't post it online. Fixing art is a complicated topic. Usually when an artist fixes the art of another artist, creator, or studio, they do so because the original art/character was offensive. A recent example would be the controversy with Genshin Impact's first plus-size/non-slim character, Beressa. The character was at most curvy, but still mostly slim. I haven't played the game myself, but from the images and videos I've watched on the topic, the character was often seen eating lots of food and crushing enemies by sitting on them. Most also initially assumed the character was based on a cow. All of these features made the character seem like a mockery of plus-size people instead of representation. There was art made in response, thickening her so that she actually looked chubby/plus size. Most other examples of artists fixing art made by established companies are similar. Company makes a stereotype instead of proper representation, fandom calls them out and makes an alternative design that removes the offensive parts. There's also an alternative to fixing art, which is redesigning art. There's a big difference between the two. Fixing art means fixing the bad parts of the source art. Redesigning art means remaking the source art with your own vision, with no disrespect for the source. It's kind of like the redesign is an alternate universe, while the fixed art is a better universe. I don't even know if that analogy made any sense. Please tell me you're following. Sometimes, the line between redesigns and fixing art is blurred, like with what's seen with critics of VivziePop, the creator of Hazbin Hotel and Helluva Boss. Is it Helluva Boss or Helluva Boss? I honestly don't know. Some believe that her characters would read better with less details. I would say these artists kind of skirt that line of fixing and redesigning because most times it also comes with a disrespect of the source art and thinking that their new designs look better than the original. As VivziePop is an established creator, successful enough to have a show streaming on Amazon Prime, it's punching up. In my opinion, I don't think it's bad to fix or redesign her work. The issue comes with fixing smaller artists' work. It's fine to redesign and fix the artwork of a studio or established creator, because that is ultimately you critiquing and reviewing their work. When artists become professionals, they're expected to hear critiques and use that to improve their work. When you fix and redesign the art of a random artist on Twitter though, that's just unsolicited advice. Some OCs are really personal to an artist, so it's weird to think you could do a better job of designing their own OC. We'll get into this topic of unsolicited criticism in the next point. Overall, fixing and redesigning art is fine, as long as the art you're fixing belongs to a studio or otherwise professional creator. You do not need to fix the art of a casual artist. Not everyone wants to hear your criticism, no matter how constructive it is. Some people draw casually and don't care much about improving their art or technique. They just want to draw cute characters, and that's okay. You may also be critiquing something that they intentionally did, like a quirk in their art style. What reads as an anatomical error to you may be a conscious choice made by the artist. Like, imagine telling the creator of Powerpuff Girls that they drew the eyes too big, when that's the whole charm of the art style. If it comes to something more polished, like a comic or animated series, criticisms may be welcome, at least in my opinion. Commenting that the text is too small or the fashion colors make it hard to watch may be a valid criticism. You may have different opinions on when it's appropriate to leave criticism. If so, let me know down below. Oh my, okay, this one is more of a TikTok issue. Guys, don't bully young/beginner artists. Don't bully any artists in general, but especially not the ones who just started. It feels like every few months there's a new drama involving everyone harassing a beginner artist for something that looks kind of off. There's that whole art lord trend, you know? Someone was proud of their art and decided to share it with the world just to get bullied and harassed off the platform. How are these artists meant to improve when all they're hearing are insults and mockery? It takes a while to not take criticism personally, so to straight up bully someone for drawing something a little poorly is kind of cruel. That's just going to discourage them from trying again and make them quit just because you wanted to make a snarky comment. Next, you aren't in competition with other artists. This is more of an internalized issue than one that gets projected onto others for the most part. As artists, I think we've all had insecurities about our progression in comparison to our peers. Like, how dare that 12-year-old be a better artist than me? It's this mindset of seeing art as a race that harms us. There is no race, so it doesn't matter how long it takes you to reach a certain skill level. And it doesn't matter if someone reaches that level before or after you. This stuff is easier said than believed though. I also still have trouble with comparing my skills to others. If it's hard for you to stop comparing your skills to others, I've got 2 tips that may be helpful. First tip, remember that you don't have the full context behind the artwork. What I mean by this is that an artist may post super often, making it look like they're drawing something new every day when they're actually just reposting old art. Or for younger artists, they may have better skills than you did at their age, but it's because they had access to more resources than you did. There may be missing context explaining why an artist seems to be better than you, because as we know, social media isn't reality. They may have certain advantages that you don't have, or they only post the good art that they make. So there's no point in comparing yourself to them. Second tip is a positive spin on comparing your art to others. When you see an artist who draws better than you, instead of going, damn, my stuff sucks, think, what is it about their art that makes it good? Note the details, like the way they exaggerate shapes or the texture of their line art. Why be self-deprecating when you can learn instead? These 2 mindset changes have greatly changed the way I consume art and judge my skills, so I hope it helps you too. Next,
people should have consideration when making exposed docs.
If you watch Ponder Sprocket, you probably know what I'm talking about. A while ago, I went down this YouTube rabbit hole watching a bunch of 15-year-olds accuse each other of being comments. Making exposed videos and docs against each other over drawing barely suggestive artwork. I've never felt old until binging a few of those and thinking, damn, this is all so stupid and immature. I don't know, I feel like I'm starting to outgrow these petty art drama videos. Anyways, although a lot of those videos and docs are made from a place of immaturity, like wanting to get back on an old friend by accusing them of bad things, that doesn't take away from their seriousness. You cannot loosely call people because they drew art you don't like. You can't send your audience to harass other artists because they hurt your feelings. That stuff can stain someone's reputation. There's also something I've seen getting criticized more often. Docs that have too much information and docs that have too little information. It's obvious why a doc with little information and proof would get criticized. There's little evidence of any misdeed. Docs with too much information also get criticized because it can be seen as trying to overwhelm people with information so that they don't look too deeply into it. Well, if they're able to fill 200 pages with evidence of bad behavior, they must have done something wrong. But then when someone unemployed enough actually looks at their evidence, it's all exaggerations and twisting words to fit their agenda. I don't know what's considered a sweet spot for a doc's length, but I think if you're nearing hundreds of pages, you should probably make one summary doc with the most damning evidence, and then another one with all the information in case someone wants more proof. I think it's also good to consider why you're making a doc in the first place. If you're exposing someone for being a bit of a bad friend, that's a private issue that doesn't need to be exposed to thousands online. Sometimes someone may wrong you and it feels unfair, but you don't have to take those grievances to strangers online. Vent to your friends, give mutuals a heads up of red flags, but don't take it to the public. Again, when you make a private issue public, your audience may come after the person you're exposing with way more energy than they actually deserve. If you're exposing someone for posting illegal material or harming others, that